Have you ever achieved your goals? What do you think is most important for achieving goals? Motivation or discipline? Let's analyze this together through Daniel's story. Meet Daniel, a young athlete gifted with natural speed and a physique that seemed perfectly designed for breaking records on the track. Everyone told Daniel he was born to run. He believed that his talent alone was enough to carry him to the podium. However, Daniel had a fatal flaw hidden beneath his talent. He lived his life entirely dependent on the feeling of inspiration. On days when the sky was gray or his body felt slightly tired, Daniel would easily convince himself to skip training. He believed that a good workout required the perfect mood, the right playlist, and beautiful weather to truly be effective training. His environment was filled with motivational quotes, yet his daily routine lacked the structure required to turn those words into reality. He would spend hours watching motivational videos, feeling a surge of dopamine that tricked his brain into thinking he was achieving something. But looking closely at his calendar, the gaps were obvious. Consistency was sacrificed at the altar of his ever-changing emotional state. When he did run, he ran hard, fueled by a burst of energy. But he never learned to run through the resistance. The moment fatigue set in, or the run became boring, Daniel would stop. He never pushed past the point of comfort. Now, let us look at Marcus. He was not the most talented runner in the region, nor did he have the best gear. Marcus possessed something far more dangerous than talent. He had an iron will and a routine that functioned like a machine. Rain or shine, happy or sad, Marcus ran 4 hours every single day. He did not negotiate with his own mind. While Daniel waited for the perfect feeling to start, Marcus was already halfway through his workout, building resilience in the mud. Marcus understood that motivation is a fickle friend, while discipline is a loyal soldier that fights for you when you are weak. They met briefly before the season started. Daniel felt superior, trusting his natural gift. Marcus said nothing, knowing the work he had done. The day of the regional championship arrived. The stadium was packed, the energy was high, and Daniel felt that familiar surge of adrenaline. This was Daniel's element. The crowd, the noise, the excitement. He felt invincible, fueled by the external validation of the moment. The gun fired, and Daniel exploded forward. He took the lead instantly, running on pure emotion and the thrill of the race. Marcus settled into his rhythm behind him. He didn't panic. He knew that a race is not won in the first minute. The first mile felt easy for Daniel. The wind was at his back, the crowd was cheering, and motivation was high. But as they entered the second mile, the initial rush of adrenaline began to fade, replaced by the physical reality of pain. Daniel's breathing became heavy. His legs, unaccustomed to pushing through deep fatigue, started to send panic signals to his brain. This was the moment Marcus had waited for. He shifted gears, entering the zone of discomfort that he visited every single morning. As Marcus pulled alongside Daniel, there was no struggle in his movement. He simply continued his routine, leaving the exhausted talent behind. Daniel tried to summon his motivation, but the tank was empty. Motivation cannot help you when your lungs are burning like fire. By the third mile, Daniel's body shut down. He collapsed, not because of injury, but because he lacked the foundation to endure suffering. Marcus crossed the finish line first. It was not a miracle. It was the mathematical result of 4 hours of daily discipline. The defeat crushed Daniel. He sat in the locker room, questioning his talent, wondering why his passion wasn't enough to win. Coach Martinez approached him. He didn't offer empty comfort. He offered the harsh truth that Daniel needed to hear to grow. He said, "Daniel, you rely on the wind to push you. But what happens when the wind stops blowing or blows against you? Motivation is like the wind," the coach explained. "It is powerful and beautiful, but it is unpredictable. You cannot build a house on wind. Discipline is like the roots of a tree. It is built slowly, silently, underground where no one sees. It anchors you. When the storm comes and the wind turns against you, only the roots will keep you standing. Today, you had no roots. The words struck Daniel hard. He realized he had been chasing a feeling instead of building a character. He wanted change. He asked the coach for help. Martinez gave him a 90-day challenge. No excuses, no negotiations, just pure, unadulterated consistency. Day 1. The alarm rang at 5 a.m. It was dark and cold. Daniel's brain screamed at him to go back to sleep. He didn't wait to feel like it. He learned the first rule of discipline. Action comes first, and the feelings follow later. He ran in the dark. There was no music, no cheering crowd, just the rhythmic pounding of his feet against the pavement. By the first week, his body rebelled. Every muscle ached. The excitement of the new challenge had faded, leaving only the grind. His friends called him for parties. The old Daniel would have gone. The new Daniel knew that discipline requires sacrifice of the immediate pleasure. It rained on day 15. The voice in his head offered an excuse. He answered by stepping out into the storm without hesitation. He learned to embrace the suck. He realized that the worse the conditions were, the stronger his mental roots were growing. A month passed. The soreness became a familiar friend. He stopped looking for the easy way out and started seeking the resistance. Discipline spread to other areas of his life. His diet became clean fuel. His sleep became a priority. His room became organized. He started training with Marcus occasionally. No words were spoken, just the shared understanding of two warriors sharpening each other's iron. There were still days when he wanted to quit, but he had learned to separate his feelings from his actions. He ran anyway. 2 months in, the physical transformation was undeniable, but the mental transformation was the true prize. He was becoming unbreakable. He no longer needed hype videos to start his day. His motivation was internal now, a quiet fire that burned consistently without fuel. The weather turned bitter cold. Daniel didn't care. He had learned that the track doesn't care about the temperature, and neither should he. Coach Martinez watched from the sidelines. He saw the change. The boy who ran for applause had become the man who ran for purpose. On the eve of the 90th day, Daniel looked in the mirror. He didn't see a talented runner. He saw a disciplined professional. Day 90 was just another Tuesday. He finished his run, not with a party, but with the quiet knowledge that he was ready. The state championship arrived. The stakes were higher. The opponents were faster. But Daniel's mind was different this time. He was calm. He didn't look at this crowd for energy. He didn't need their cheers. He brought his own energy, stored up over 90 days. Marcus was there. This time, Daniel didn't see him as a rival to beat, but as a standard to meet and exceed. The race started. Daniel didn't sprint blindly. He settled into the uncomfortable pace he had practiced 1,000 times in the dark. His mind was clear. While others panicked at the speed, Daniel found comfort in the rhythm. He was home in the pain. Competitors pushed and shoved, wasting energy on anxiety. Daniel ran his own race, trusting the roots he had built all season. As the fatigue set in during the second mile, Daniel welcomed it. He greeted the pain like an old friend he trained with. It came down to Daniel and Marcus, stride for stride. The talented boy who learned discipline against the machine of consistency. Daniel's body screamed for him to stop, just like it did months ago. But this time, his mind had the authority to refuse. The final lap bell rang. This was the moment of truth. Not a test of talent, but a test of who had deeper roots. Daniel dug deep into the reservoir of strength he built on those rainy mornings. He found a gear that motivation could never provide. He surged past Marcus, not because he was lucky, but because he had trained his body to perform when it wanted to quit. He crossed the finish line. The victory wasn't just winning the medal, it was conquering the weaker version of himself that once existed. He didn't collapse this time. He stood tall, breathing in the air of victory, supported by the strong foundation he had constructed. Marcus smiled and shook his hand. He knew that Daniel had finally learned the lesson. He had joined the ranks of the disciplined. Standing on the podium, Daniel realized that the gold medal was just a symbol. The real reward was the person he had become. He remembered the cold mornings, the aching muscles, the lonely nights. Those were the bricks that built this moment of glory. His roots were now deep. No wind could knock him over. He had transitioned from a fair-weather athlete to an unstoppable force. The next morning, Daniel didn't sleep in. He tied his shoes. Success is not a destination. It is a rent you pay every day. Now, look at your own life. Are you building a house on the wind of motivation? Or are you growing roots of discipline? How many dreams have you abandoned because the excitement faded? How many times have you stopped because the weather got a little gray? Remember this: motivation gets you started. It is the spark that lights the fire. But sparks die out quickly in the cold. Discipline is what keeps you going. It is the fuel that burns slow and long, keeping you warm through the darkest winters. You don't need to be an athlete to apply this. You just need to make a promise to yourself and keep it. Whether it is building a business, learning a language, or changing your body, the principles remain exactly the same for everyone. Stop waiting for the storm to pass. Stop waiting for the perfect feeling. Learn to dance in the rain and work through pain. Your feelings are suggestions, not commands. You have the power to override them with your will. That is the essence of discipline. Imagine your future self. Will they thank you for the work you did today? Or will they resent you for the excuses? The choice is yours. You can be a slave to your moods, or you can be the master of your destiny. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, but it is finished only by the steps you take when tired. So I ask you today, what will you choose? The fleeting wind of motivation, or the deep, anchoring roots of discipline? Success is waiting for you. But it is not waiting on the sunny days. It is hiding in the early mornings and late nights. Go build your roots. Let them grow deep and strong. And when the winds of life blow, you will remain standing. Thank you for watching this journey on Unstoppable Mind today. We hope Daniel's story has ignited a fire within your soul. If this video added value to your life, please like and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind Daniel's transformation. Why is it so hard for our brains to choose discipline? Our brains are wired for efficiency. We seek immediate rewards. Motivation provides a quick hit of dopamine, which feels good instantly. Discipline, however, offers no immediate reward. It often involves pain. Your brain naturally resists this, trying to protect you from discomfort. This is why the first few weeks are the hardest. You are literally rewiring your brain to accept pain as a pathway to pleasure. We call this the resistance threshold. Most people quit before they break through this wall. Daniel pushed until the wall crumbled. Once you pass the threshold, discipline becomes a habit. It becomes harder to stop than to keep going. That is momentum. Marcus lived in a state of positive momentum. For him, skipping a workout would feel more painful than doing the workout. Daniel had to manually push the boulder every day for 90 days until he finally reached the top of that hill. Remember, discipline does not mean perfection. It means consistency. If you miss one day, you do not quit. You simply resume. There were days Daniel performed poorly, but a bad workout is infinitely better than no workout. He showed up, regardless of quality. Your environment matters. Daniel stopped surrounding himself with comfort and started designing his life to make discipline easier to achieve. Don't underestimate the power of a mentor. someone who can see your blind spots and call you out on your excuses, and value your rivals. Marcus was not the enemy, he was the standard. Find someone better than you and chase them down. Mindset, environment, and action. These are the 3 pillars that Daniel rebuilt to transform from a dreamer into a champion. This applies to everything. The mastery of any craft is boring. It is the same thing, over and over, until you excel. Fall in love with boredom. Embrace the repetition. That is where the magic happens, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. You have watched this video for 14 minutes. You are motivated now. But what will you do when this video ends? Don't promise to change your whole life today. Just promise to do one hard thing, and then do it again tomorrow. Build your chain, one link at a time. Don't break the chain. If you do, fix it immediately and keep forging. Daniel looked back at his 90 days, not with relief that it was over, but with pride that he had survived it. He found the ultimate paradox. Discipline equals freedom. By restricting his easy choices, he unlocked the freedom to achieve his dreams. Your 90 days can start right now. You don't need a coach, a track, or a rival. You just need yourself. Plant your seed today. Water it with sweat. Protect it with routine. And have the patience to wait for the harvest. Just as Daniel learned from Marcus and Martinez, you can be the inspiration for someone else once you walk this path. Your discipline ripples out. It changes your family, your friends, and your community. Be the rock that creates the waves. From a talented slacker to a disciplined champion. Daniel's story is proof that character can be built and destiny can be changed. This is the mission of Unstoppable Mind today, to give you the tools to construct a mind that refuses to be defeated. Join our community of unstoppable minds. Leave a comment below with your goal for the next 90 days. We will read them. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. We believe in you. Now, go out there and prove us right. I am your host from Unstoppable Mind today. Remember, motivation is the wind, but discipline is the root. Stay strong. Goodbye.